Hey guys, welcome back to Chariot Palmistry, where we give you the tools to help you navigate your life by predicting world events, life cycles, and even finances. My name is Sulabh Jain, and in this video we'll be talking about all the craziness around the world over the month of June and giving you predictions for what will happen in the month of July. June was a very chaotic period. There was an almost war with Iran. There was a lot of political instability. And so in this video, we're going to talk about all of that. We'll also give some predictions on Bitcoin, on the general economy, and even have a look at all the craziness around Elon Musk. So to make sense of what's been going on in the world, let me throw up a screenshot of a video I made just a couple weeks ago about a potential financial crisis I think is going to hit the world at the end of 2026. And the first event in this video is I'm talking about a lot of political chaos taking over the world. And there was a lot of it this month. You see, the Dutch government collapsed, the Thai Prime Minister was suspended, there were riots in LA along with protests in the rest of the country, Trump was almost impeached again, there were also riots in Kenya, there was maybe a regime change threat in Iran, South Korea was chaotic, there were protests in Hungary, Turkey, Serbia, and in Hong Kong, the last Democratic Party folded its cards. And amongst all of that, the French president even managed to get slapped in the face. So I believe that we're in for another 8 more weeks of political chaos. It'll continue not just through June, but into July and August, after which point I think there's potentially another big war that may be happening in the world. Now, on the topic of war, in the month of June, Israel got into a shooting match with Iran, and the US got involved in it as well. I just want to talk a little bit about the energy around that, because it's very, very flat. You see, it was the transiting conjunction of Mars and Ketu in the sign of Leo that did this. Normally the planets that create wars, they're Mars and Mercury, Mars and Saturn, although they create more like revolutions and civil wars. And then there's also Mars and Rahu, which creates like a disaster everywhere, or whenever that happens. What happened this time, it was neither of those three combinations, it was Mars and Ketu. Normally these are periods where things flare up and then they die down just as quickly. No one really knows what happened. It's a period of big confusion. That's pretty much what happened with Israel and Iran. The two of them have been gunning for each other for years and years now, and it just so happened to be that the day after Netanyahu won a vote of no confidence, that they suddenly realized Iran was only weeks away from making nuclear weapons. Now, to be fair, Iran probably is making nuclear weapons, and they probably have been doing it for a while, but I just think it's far too convenient that there's this big political deadline that happened for Netanyahu, which led to this big shooting match. In other words, there's no planetary energy behind this. It's just a war or a fight of political convenience, which is a horrible thing to say because people in Iran and Israel died for this. I believe that we're in for a bigger war in the months ahead, and that's probably the one we should be focusing on. But we should also maybe stop and just take a stock take of all the wars going on in the world at the moment. You see, Ukraine and Russia is still fighting it out. And that war, by the way, is a Mercury-Mars type of war. It flares up, and I'm just amazed that that conflict is actually still going on. There's a lot of wars taking place in Africa at the moment. Sudan is still fighting its civil war. There's insurgencies in Mali, Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso as well. And Ethiopia is under a lot of chaos too. And a while ago I was telling you guys to pay attention to Africa, because that's where the real energetic wars are taking place. Very soon the energy is going to shift out of Africa, and as I said before, about September, October, November time, there'll be a new conflict that will get everyone's attention. So try and ignore what's happening with Iran at the moment. It's just politics or political theater. There's bigger wars that need our attention. And I think war is probably a good segue for the next topic I want to talk about, which is Elon Musk. You see, on the 5th of June, he got into a Twitter war with President Donald Trump. I'm going to throw up a screenshot of a video I made about Elon Musk and Tesla. And as you can see on the 6th prediction here, we're expecting the price rise to take place until exactly the 5th of June. And it was the AAVE tool that actually predicted that one, so I'm very happy that that happened. Following this, of course, there was a big price fall for the Tesla stock over June, followed by a price rise taking place in the latter part of the month. And so the AAVE tool actually predicted all of that silliness, and what it's saying now is that the price of Tesla will fall into the first week of July. Then, as prediction 10 says, it'll rise for the rest of July. So if you're into Tesla, it's looking like a pretty good period. On that note, we should also talk about crypto, and I'll throw up a screenshot of a video I've made on the cryptocurrency predictions. And it's been a while since I've brought this screenshot up, so it's probably time to update it with some ticks and crosses. Prediction 6, that there'd be a price rise in April to May, that ended up happening. The price fall in the second week of May did not end up happening, although it kind of technically did. The price fell, I think, in the start of the third week of May. So technically that prediction's correct, but I'm still going to put a cross next to it. We were predicting a price rise to take place in June, and that also kind of did end up happening. The price at the end of June is higher for Bitcoin than it was at the start of June. However, this prediction is very confusing as well, so I'll throw up a screenshot of my predictions for the month of June. And what I said then, that there would be a Bitcoin price fall happening in the second week of June onwards. And so I've got one prediction saying the price is going up in June, another one saying it's going to go down in the second week of June. I'll throw up the price chart to show you guys what actually happened there. So June started over here at this point. It generally went down initially, then went up. Then in close to the second week of June, it started going down, and then it went up. So it was a big zigzag sideways, ending on a bit of a high. And that's where I think I confused a lot of you guys, because in one video I'm saying it's going to go up, in another video I'm saying it's going to go down at a particular point. This is a confusing thing with Jyotish, because we look at lots of different lines on the hands and lots of different planetary transits in astrology, and sometimes they contradict each other, but they generally both end up being right within like a bigger picture here. So what's going to happen to crypto over the month of July? I'm expecting July to be a difficult month, with the price going downwards generally across most cryptocurrencies. In fact, one thing I've been promising you guys for a while on this channel is that I'm going to make a video on altcoin season. I apologize I haven't done that yet. I'll get to it in the next couple weeks, because what I'm seeing on the horizon is a very chaotic altcoin period. So I'll explain that in a new video. But I do want to talk about one altcoin in particular, and that is AAVE. And in order to explain this crypto, I'll pull up our AAVE tool to show you what AAVE was predicting for this particular cryptocurrency. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, AAVE is a software tool that I'm involved in, where we use astrology to predict the energy movement of cryptocurrencies and stock. And what we've got on the screen over here is the prediction for AAVE. This orange bar is the energy, where we see its energy improving. The green line is the price of the actual crypto. And as you can see over here, from about the 18th of January was the peak of AAVE's energy. We believed it would be heading down until about the 5th of April. And if I just reset that axis, you can kind of see that playing out. But then after the 5th of April, we believed the energy would be heading up until around about the middle of July. And the exact bottom there, by the way, happened on the 7th of April. So the tool was very close to within 2 days. And it's been tracking very beautifully since then. AAVE looks like it's going up for about until the middle of this month. And then it looks like it's heading down. That seems to be keeping in line with my predictions that July is going to be a difficult month for cryptocurrencies in general. And on that note, I should probably show you guys another really cool prediction that AAVE made. And that is for Roblox. So once again, the energy meter is over here. Looks like it's settling in April sometime, and then just ramping upwards into the middle of August. If I reset the price axis, you can see we got very close to the exact bottom within a couple weeks. And it's just been on a tear ever since. I think at this point it was about $50. Up here it's close to 100. And our tool's predicting that Roblox still has about another 6 good weeks in front of it. Now on that note guys, I want you to know that on this channel we do not give financial advice. We just do Jyotish predictions. It's up to you guys to talk to someone who knows what they're talking about in terms of buying and selling and holding and all that fun stuff. Now, having talked about AAVE, if you guys do want to sign up to the tool, head on over to our website and use the coupon code CHAR10. Now, let's also pull up a screenshot of my predictions over the month of June to see how we tracked, and then we'll look at our predictions for the month of July. And June was a bit of a mixed bag here actually. My prediction that the Bitcoin price would fall in the second week onwards, that ended up happening as I explained earlier. However, my next two predictions unfortunately ended up being wrong. I was predicting the gold price to fall until the end of the first week of the month and then to rise from the second week onwards. I muddled that order up. I think it just kept going up until the first week, then went downwards just after that. So I'm putting a cross next to both of those. My next prediction that the stock market would rise did end up happening, and that's despite all the potential wars and the political uncertainty in the world. So it's 2 out of 2 on that one. So for those of you keeping score, that puts my tally at about 9 correct predictions out of 13 so far this year. Now let's move on to the month of July, and these are my predictions. I'm expecting a Bitcoin fall to take place until about the third week of the month, and then the price is going to start rising again from the end of the third week onwards. Now once again, remember the screenshot earlier where I said the price is going to fall over the entire month, and here I'm saying there's a fall for most of the month with a slight bump afterwards. Keep in mind the overall trend is I think the month is going to end lower for Bitcoin than the start of the month, but with a bit of a zigzag in those 2 dates. I'm also expecting a stock market fall to take place in the second week of this month onwards. And I'm not going to make a prediction on gold or silver this month. Usually gold and silver goes up in times of political uncertainty, which is one thing I'm very firmly standing by in my prediction on. But gold, its energies just seems a little bit strange right now, especially with the sun in Cancer and Mars wobbling around that area. So we're not going to touch gold this month. And that's where I'm going to end this video. We've got about 8 weeks of political craziness in front of us, followed by a potential war, which means the world's going to be in a silly place for quite some time. I want you guys to keep your heads together, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.